Now at 11, families feeling the heartache of unsolved homicide investigations here in Indianapolis.
When are we going to stop? You know, and when are we going to reach out and help each other?
Tonight we're looking into the lives impacted, the hunt for answers, and the hurdles arising in these cases.
A couple of rain and snow chances ahead of a warming trend. I'll have your forecast.
And President Trump addressing the nation tonight with his State of the Union. We're breaking down the main takeaways from tariffs and tackling rising costs to the future of U.S. foreign policy. And thanks for inviting us in. It's coming up on 11:30, and tonight dozens of homicide cases from 2025 remain unsolved. But police tell us they're not forgotten. Tonight, Alex Almanza looks at how IMPD continues working those investigations as one family marks what would have been a birthday.
This week would have been Chris Somerville's 37th birthday. Instead of celebrating, his family is still waiting for answers.
We're just devastated without him.
IMPD says just after midnight on February 25th last year, officers responded to a report of a person shot near West 34th and Lyndhurst. They found Somerville suffering from gunshot wounds. He later died at the hospital. Nearly a year later, no arrests.
How would you feel if it was your son or your brother or your friend, and any of you who knew Chris, you knew his heart?
For Chris's mother, Donnie Smith, the hardest part is the unknown.
I will forever, until I know who did it, be trying to figure it out.
Somerville's case is one of 73 unsolved homicide cases from 2025 in Indianapolis, but police say unsolved doesn't mean closed.
These are cases that remain active and open. We do not close them, and these are answers that we're seeking.
IMPD says it has an entire unsolved homicide unit, giving older cases what they call a fresh set of eyes, reviewing evidence, re-interviewing witnesses, and following up on new leads.
Sometimes all it takes is picking up the phone, anonymously or directly, calling us and saying, I saw something out of place on this date.
For Chris's family, this birthday wish is simple.
Think about, search your heart. You know, that this could be you. It could be your family. You know, you never know.
That someone somewhere comes forward. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
IMPD says while dozens of cases remain open tonight, they rely heavily on community tips to help them move forward. So if you have any information about any unsolved homicide, please contact IMPD, their homicide unit, or Crime Stoppers. You don't have to give your name. The phone number is 317-262-TIPS. When it comes to that community cooperation to help solve cases, IMPD tells us it's been stepping up efforts to connect and build ties with residents to strengthen those partnerships. We saw some of that today as new IMPD Chief Tanya Terry returned to the very district that she once served as commander. She held an open meeting with residents in Hawville to talk about the issues that are concerning them.
Working together actually works. Instead of two entities being on two different pages, it's always best to get people in the same room and discuss things together.
A safe Indianapolis where community members, officers, and professional staff alike are supported, voices are heard, and IMPD is a proud and trusted partner.
During today's meeting, residents and IMPD talked about ways to collaborate and improve safety across our city. IMPD also discussed its recently finalized 5-year strategic plan, which focuses on building community partnerships and cracking down on violent crime. You can stream our full story about the IMPD chief's first official outing since taking over the role. Go ahead and scan that QR code or open up the WTHR Plus app. Angela?
Scott, as expected, just a few rain and snow showers showing up on radar right now. This is live Doppler 13 radar. I'll give you one local view of a few spotty rain and snow showers from Crawfordsville in between Frankfort and Lebanon over towards Cicero into Alexandria. This is a fast moving weather system and it's going to be gone by the time we reach the morning drive tomorrow. Temperatures in the low to mid 30s early tomorrow morning. 7:25 is your sunrise on Wednesday. A few rain and snow showers for the next couple of hours and then we'll start to clear things out. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon into the 40s. We will end our Wednesday with some sunshine, expecting 47 in Indianapolis, but some 50s on the map. Bloomington, Columbus, Bedford, and Seymour. This is the beginning of a gradual warming trend. I'll touch on that and another rain and snow chance tomorrow night into early Thursday in the 7-day.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Tonight, President Donald Trump promoting a message of prosperity at this year's State of the Union. The president tonight touching on topics like the economy and inflation. He also addressed a variety of foreign relations issues, from tariffs to border security and immigration enforcement. Our Logan Gay watched tonight's State of the Union with University of Indianapolis political science professor Dr. Laura Merrifield Wilson, and she's breaking down the key takeaways from tonight's address.
Dr. Laura Wilson has watched countless State of the Union addresses, each one leaving its mark, and she says this one is no different.
I think this is a really interesting speech because on one hand you see several unifying themes. He brought in the men's hockey team that won gold in the recent Winter Olympics, which is exciting. But then you also, he opened up with immigration. He talked about the economy, several divisive issues. He even called out the Supreme Court that was seated right there in front in terms of their tariff decision last Friday.
The president mentioned tariffs. Are tariffs saving our country?
There's a lot of claims in this State of the Union that I think are going to be fact-checked and may not be entirely accurate. For starters, presidential approval is down right now. Pew Research suggests the president's at 37%. So clearly the people aren't seeing those low costs that you talked about, lower inflation. The tariffs seem to be really hurting Americans in a lot of different ways. Now, he did talk about Wall Street and successes in terms of investments, and there's a lot of empiric evidence to suggest that element of his economic policy has been very successful.
During a State of the Union, support for President Trump was divided by party lines, but Wilson says this address was more than about a speech.
The president has long been interested in making sure Republicans can maintain the House. So much of this it feels like a campaign message. It's like a pitch. Look at how great I've done this past year. Please keep my party in office.
And election results could show if Americans were listening. In Indianapolis, Logan Gay, 13 News.
During and leading up to tonight's president's speech, we saw counter rallies and protests in Washington, D.C. More than 24 Democratic U.S. lawmakers attended a virtual demonstration that was streamed from the National Mall that was called the People's State of the Union. Speakers hit on issues like health care, immigration, and the rising cost of living. The group Defiance.org also hosted its own counter rally called the State of the Swamp. The event featured speeches from current and former lawmakers, along with celebrities like Robert De Niro. New tonight at 11, a former IMPD officer was just sentenced to 72 years in prison for child molestation and other child sex crimes. The investigation into Kamal Bola started back in 2024 after a recording device was found in a room of an underage girl in Hendricks County. Police then discovered Bola committed repeated acts of sexual misconduct against the girl over an extended period of time. He resigned from IMPD back in 2024 and was convicted last month. Here's a look at the other stories making headlines tonight. An Indianapolis man is charged with intimidation, accused of threatening to shoot a Marion County judge. Investigators say Jordan Williams' threat was recorded on a jail phone while talking with his girlfriend who was behind bars. Today, a special judge from Hancock County was assigned to his case. Tonight, IMPD says they've discovered a third gun linked to a police shooting over the weekend. Police say an officer returned fire after someone in a car shot at officers during a traffic stop. 2 juveniles were shot, another was hurt. Police initially recovered multiple guns from the car. Now a search warrant on that vehicle uncovered a third gun police are now investigating. Police took the 3 juveniles into custody along with 1 adult who police say ran from the scene. Tonight, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita says his Medicaid Fraud Control Unit recovered more than $100 million in taxpayer money. Many of the cases revolved around medication theft, patient abuse, or fraudulent billing. Now Rokita's office wants more police authority for the fraud unit to get through cases quicker. INDOT just announced a new initiative to improve highway worker safety. Project Greenlight provides those workers with safety lights. They flash green safety patterns as crews work in dark conditions or limited visibility to make workers easier to see. INDOT is already testing these lights in 3 areas. The department plans to distribute 375 of these lights to crews around our state. Remember, you can find all of our latest local stories streaming anytime. Just scan this QR code on your screen. Still ahead tonight, the Colts arrive at the NFL Combine. What's their focus for the future? Eli Gain heads to the convention center to find out.
Sunshine is back in the forecast tomorrow, and the warming trend begins when we get to 60.
But first, a critical deadline at the State House is now come and gone. So where do things stand tonight with just days left in the legislative session? We'll catch you up. That's next.